Welcome, obviously practice students N5. This is a wonderful session that we are going to do last sections of your paper again, of your exam, of your module, question 5, 6, and 7. You normally know that in sometimes or in most cases we don't have time to do them because of time factor, but let us just quickly cover them through revision. Question 5, as you can see, is basically repeating itself, or it has been repeated. So we want to see the duties of the messenger controller. What are the duties of the messenger controller? Uh, let's just quickly go into it and answer these questions. So the messenger controller, the duties, what are the duties? One, this question, like I said, we have answered it before. We're saying that the messenger controller or a monitor, messenger monitor, he has to monitor the sending, collection, and delivery of mail and parcels. He has to monitor the control. He has to monitor messenger controller. He has to monitor the sending. He has to monitor the sending. We have to talk about the collection. We have to talk about the delivery of mail, collection and delivery of mail and parcels, delivery of mail and parcels. A messenger has to ensure that a message, the collection, the sending and delivery of mail has been successful. In that, he has to mean to say that he has to make a follow-up. He has to make an inquiry into understanding that communication that is taking place inside, which is taking place from the organization and its stakeholders has been successful. So that is one of the key duties there. He has also to record the mail and parcel received. A recording of the mail and parcel received, record the mail and parcels are received. This actually has to do with record keeping in order to ensure that we can be able to have a trail or follow up on what has been received and what has not been received. Remember that communication or parcels that are entering the organization, sometimes they might be misplaced. So by recording them, there is a good information or record keeping that would enable the reflection in any time when there is matters arising with parcels that has been received and so forth. So he record the mail and parcels that has been received within the organization. We also have to understand that he also monitors the distance traveled and the time it took to deliver the mail or a parcel. Monitor the distance traveled. Monitor the distance traveled and time taken to deliver a mail. Time taken to deliver a mail. This is very important that the monitor, the messenger monitor has to follow up, has to try to understand the effectiveness in terms of the movement and the delivering of parcels. So the distance that is traveled, time taken to deliver a mail. Therefore, he can also recommend and come up with the most suitable or most effective ways of sending the parcels rather than the ones that are being used. So in other ways, he does or she does research on the best effective ways of sending mails, which is cost effective and also less time consuming. So in that regard, it enables efficiency of the business in ensuring that time-wise communication is being achieved, which also support and ensure that the organization remains viable. He also makes sure that the signature of the addressee is there as proof of delivery. So in other words, we just want to understand that he ensures proof of delivery. Ensure proof of delivery of mail. He ensures proof of delivery of mail, which is through what? Through the signatures of the addressee, that the parcel to which it is being addressed to, it has to be, the addressee who is supposed to receive the parcel, he actually signs as confirmation of of delivery or of receptioning of the parcel. So that has to be also be the duty and the responsibility of a messenger or a monitor controller. So therefore, one other function that we need to look at is that he also has to take time of arrival at work and time of knock off. Time of arrival and time of knock off. The duty is to ensure punctuality, punctuality, punctuality at work. The messenger has to be punctual at work. He has to be readily available. So therefore, no parcels may be failed to be delivered or to be sent as they are supposed to be because of his unavailability. So the punctuality factor, it is quite important such that he can always be there to ensure that work is done as it is supposed to be done, and then ensure that the logbook is also properly completed for every delivery. So we are talking about the monitor also controls uh, the the recording of information, recording of document or information details in logbook. It is very important that information is kept safe. So the monitor, the messenger or the controller has to ensure that he controls the recording of information details in the logbook. All the details must be complete in the logbook. It is the duty of the messenger. It is the duty of the controller ensuring that all these are actually done. So it also ensures that there are no delays in terms of the movement of parcels. That is the consideration that delays that might be arising in terms of parcel delivery are also minimized and are also reduced. And then we want to look at question number 5.3. Industrial espionage means obtaining secret information about a company. State 5 measures that can be taken to prevent espionage. So ways that can be taken to prevent leaking of organizational information. Which ones are those? Ways that can be taken to prevent information from leaking in the organization. Question 5.2. 5.2. Ways to reduce leaking of organizational information. Leaking of organizational information. What can be done to reduce industrial espionage? So, which we are saying, I say that this is called industrial espionage. What can be done to reduce it? So we want to list these ways. We want to understand that one, confidential documents from, we are saying one, protect confidential documents from what? From unintended persons. Prevent uh, confidential documents, confidential documents from attention of unintended persons. People who are not supposed to see confidential documents must not get access to them. They must not be able to get access to those documents. That is very important. And also, be careful of visitors who ask leading questions. At avoid leaking of information through investigative discussions. Investigation talks with strangers. So as a front desk personnel, as a management assistant, it is very important and advisable that you are supposed to avoid and try to avoid and keep away from investigative questions, which can sometimes be visitors that will be leading you to talk about something that is unintended from the senior personnel or from office work, which is not supposed to be shared to every people. So therefore, we are saying avoid being trapped in leading questions which are very investigative, resulting in leaking of such information. And also, uh, there is also don't personnel employees must not be allowed must not be allowed to take confidential documents out of the organization. Every information that is confidential must not be allowed to be taken out of the organization, because sometimes this information, it can leak, it can just be lost and can get in the hands of unintended persons, so that this information, it end up being readily available to people who are not supposed to be having it. And also ensure tight security, e.g. lock and key in every premises, in offices where confidential information is kept, where confidential information may be found, may be stored. So every place where confidential information may be stored, it must be kept also under tight security. So therefore, we cannot be able to lose such information. It cannot be allowed to always be readily available because of the lock and key. So it is very good that tight security under lock and key is kept in place in order to ensure that such possibilities may not arise. It is always also recommendable to check listening devices within the senior or management office. Check availability of listening devices, in management offices, in senior management offices. so that you can remove them. As a management assistant, it is always also recommendable that you look for possibilities of listening devices that can be implanted in the management, in the senior management's office, and then you can remove them. So you find in secret places, check in every possible places that may be planted these secret listening devices, and then if by any chance they are seen, they must be removed from there. You understand? So we want to look at what is explain petty cache system. Explain petty cache system. Explain petty cache system. Petty cache system. What is this? Uh, when you look at petty cache system, this is a petty cache cashier or management assistant initially receives a check, and then from the cashier for a certain amount of money. This amount is actually dependent on the number of transactions carried out on every month. So petty cash system is actually uh, a a system that is used in terms of running or management. Petty cash system is actually a cash management system that is done in order to manage the daily is a management of cash facility that that actually enables uh, the usage and safekeeping safekeeping of small amounts of money, small amounts of money within the organization. The money is kept within the organization for financing of routine activities, for financing of routine activities, financing of routine activities. So petty cash system, there must be a management style or management approach which actually safeguard the money that is kept within an organization, which is normally small amount of money, which must be actually be used to finance daily must finance the daily activities of the business. So this amount actually depends on the number of transactions carried out every month. Uh, the amount of money depends. It depends on activities being done per month. Being done per month. It affects how much petty cash must be there. It defines how much petty cash must be there, and then it is usually based on past experience. Uh, usually, it is usually based on past experience. Usually based on past experience. It is usually based on past experience to say that how much money have we been using in a month on on certain activities. So in this case, again, there is a check is cashed and the petty cash cashier keeps the cash locked away in a safe drawer. In other words, we have got a check is cashed and the petty cash cashier actually keeps the cash away in a safe place. check is cashed and petty cash. Petty cash cashier keeps the money in a safe place, in a safe drawer. Therefore, what happens is that there is need for safety of that money. So payments will be made from cash, and then anybody who has made a small payment can request the cash for what? Can request a cash for it. So the payments are normally made in cash in an organization. In this organization, payments may be made in cash. They can be made in cash. Payments may be made in cash. So now, what you need to understand is that when payments are made in cash, and then we are saying payment may be made in cash, and also anybody who has to make a small payment can request the cash from the what? Can request the cash for it from the what? From the cashier. That is one thing that we need to take note about or take note of. We want to look at question number 6. We want to look at question number 6. Hostage taking. Hostage taking is defined as the seizing or detention of an individual coupled with a threat to kill, injure, or continue to detain such an individual in order to compel a third person or a governmental organization to take some action. So explain how one must act during a hostage-taking incident. So when hostage occurs, what is it that what is it that must be done when hostage, or explain how one must act during a hostage-taking incident. What must be done during a hostage-taking incident? Uh, Actions. What must be done during hostage-taking incident? Uh, what must be done during hostage taking incidents? What must be done during hostage taking incidents? So one, we are saying being seized or being detained, being in detention, uh, coupled with threats of killing or injure, which must also be compiling another person to make some payments or to take some actions, which can be either an individual or government. Therefore, what must be done is that it is always recommendable that do not try to be stubborn, but rather try to compel or try to fall. We are saying avoid resistance or stubbornness, because these people can actually kill. They can kill you or they can injure you. So it is always good to what? To follow instructions. Follow instructions or orders. Follow instruction or orders from them as they give them. Follow follow orders or instructions as they are given to avoid injuries. And also always try to stay calm and try to stay calm and calm other victims. Always try to stay calm and also soften up or calm other victims. other victims, you need to calm them also, which is very important in order to avoid worst scenarios to arise in such incidents, loss of blood or loss of lives. And then we also need to take note of take note do not retaliate, stop heroism behaviors, stop people in hostage, avoid uh, retaliation or hero behaviors. You must not be kind of a hero. Don't try to be a master. Always just try to act as if you are ignorant and so forth. So that is very important. Take notice of such details as possible, like faces, voices, and what citizens. Be observant. Try to take note of any identity, identity marks, or we can talk about identity marks. We can talk about our voices. We can talk about dress code, dress code, and also even the scars, which can be also on the mark that can actually, so you can identify the intruders so as to be able to identify them, so as to be able to identify intruders afterwards, to identify intruders uh, afterwards. So you cannot be able to identify them if ever you didn't take notice of anything. So the voice, the dress code, the markers, whatever that can be found on these persons, they must be able to be noticed. And then I've tried to make sure that you take care of them for future use. And then if kidnapped and moved, try to locate the place. It is always it is recommendable to locate the place, locate the place, locate the place of hostage, locate the place of hostage, and also to locate the places so that you can be able to follow it with the police afterwards. Locate the place of hostage for police use, for police to use it or a reference afterwards. Afterwards, it's very important for that to be taken note of. And then the next question is saying you received different petty cash vouchers during November 2023 and listed what must be stated on a petty cash voucher as control measures. What must be stated on a petty cash voucher as identify or list what must be stated on a petty cash voucher as control measures. So we are talking about petty cash control guidelines. What must be stated on a petty cash voucher as control measures. The control measures of petty cash voucher. Control measures of petty cash control measures of petty cash voucher. What are those control measures of a petty cash voucher? What are those things that must be there with regard to petty cash voucher? One, uh, it has to state that no staff members is allowed to lend money from the petty cash. No staff member is allowed to lend money from petty cash. No one is allowed to lend money from the petty cash. The petty cash is strictly money for business. It must not be given to staff members. And then if anyone takes it, this practice actually will be avoiding to say that if any member takes it, he will be owing the company, he will be owing the organization. So no staff member must allow to lend money from the petty cash. And again, the voucher should be audited to ensure that the expenses are authorized and validated. Vouchers must be audited, so regularly, must be audited. The voucher must be audited to ensure that the expenses, to ensure all expenses are authorized, to ensure that expenses are authorized, to ensure that expenses are authorized. As you see that, and also when they are authorized, it means they are also authorized and validated. Authorized and they are authorized and validated. That would also avoid stealing of money. Money cannot be stolen. So what we are saying is that the petty cash voucher must be, they must be audited, they must be verified, they must be checked for authorization of those monies. And again, a senior should regularly control the petty cash to see if the amount of cash is actually in the drawer balances with the records. Senior personnel, senior personnel must always must control the petty cash, must control the petty cash, control the petty cash to ensure that there is no theft. To ensure that there is no theft. So what we are saying is that the money must be controlled by a senior personnel in order to control and avoid theft also. This actually to ensure that the expenses that are recorded, they are tallying with the monies or with the records, with the cash that is available and left. So it is all about balancing that money. And again, we can also do some inspections should be carried out to make sure that the necessary safety precautions regarding the safekeeping of petty cash are done. Inspections must be put in place. Inspection towards the safety of petty cash. Petty cash must be done. So the safety of petty cash must be there to ensure that there is no leakage, there is no loss of that money. So in other words, what we are saying is that inspection must be done also in order to avoid losing such monies. And then question 6.3 is saying Question 6.3 is saying, name and explain two principles to which insurance is based. Two principles to which insurance is based. I'm sure that you remember insurance, which two principles of which insurance is based. I'm sure we have got quite a lot of them, but I'm just going to mention only basically two. The utmost good faith, which is actually the principle that implies that the insured must actually present every information as truthful as it is. So we are saying 6.3, 6.3. The principle one, we are saying utmost, the principle of insurance is utmost good faith. Utmost good faith, it actually ensures that the principle implies that it implies that the insured must be as honest, must be as honest as possible. He must be as honest, he must be as honest as possible in terms of giving the details or giving the information when applying for the insurance, as honest as possible in filling in the information, filling filling in information or applying the policy or applying for the cover. What happens is that this actually applying for the cover or insurance, what is the purpose? To avoid losses, avoid losses or also over insurance that would affect actually the premium, that the premium which will affect the premiums that are going to be paid by the insured. So honesty is very important. If you give false information, whatever that is going to be covered, it might be underinsured or overinsured, which results in either being too expensive of the policy than what is necessary. And then we can also talk about the principle of indemnity. Indemnity, the principle of indemnity. Uh, it actually it ensures that the insured must not make a profit, or a lose after after a claim, after a claim or in a claim. What it means is that the insured must be reinstated to his or her original stamp. The insured must be reinstated to his or her original position before the accident. So actually the indemnity policy the indemnity principle, it covers and ensures that no one is going to make a profit or a loss, but there is going to be a proper calculation of what has been lost, and that what has been lost is supposed to be must be compensated. So compensation, it actually starts and ends only on what has been lost. If you have lost 500,000 of worth of property, it is only 500 worth of property that is going to be compensated, and nothing more or less. And then we can also talk about one other last principle that we can give: insurable interest, which implies that the person wishing to take out insurance must have insurable interest or real interest in the object that is being insured. Insurable interest, the interest that you must have, the love for the property that is to be insured. So what we are saying is that the principle of insurable interest, it ensures that that any person wishing to take out insurance must have an insurable interest or a real interest in the object or a property that has to be insured. That actually safeguard also the insurer, which is the insurance company, from losing a lot or from giving a policy or a cover on something that is recklessly not managed. That is recklessly managed, which can also become a challenge. So state name 4 types of transport. Name question 6.4. Question 6.4. What we want to do is question 6.4. Question 6.4. Name 4 types of transport. I guess this was a bonus question, which you can also talk about. We have got all of them from, we did them from primary. We talk about rail. We talk about air. We talk about road. We are saying these are various forms of transport, and also or water mode of transport. Rail, air, road or water transport, which is, we are talking about airlines in terms of the air, water. We talk about the sea, the ports, and the shipping that we need to understand. Obviously, the rail, we talk about the train, and road, we talk about the road locomotives that we can talk about. All of those are typical examples. And then question 7, it wants us to say, we need to match column A, choose the term in column B that matches a description in column A, write only the letter next to the question number, which is given there. So question number 7, 7.1, this should be 7.2.1, 7.2. This must be a 7. This must be a 7. So what we are saying is that, and obviously they were supposed to be, an employee is paid a fixed tariff per hour regardless of their performance. An employee is paid a fixed tariff, a fixed payment charge, which is per hour regardless of their performance. What time we call that an hourly wage. It's an hourly wage, which is B. So question 7.1.7, it is what? It is B. It is what? It is B, which we are saying that it is an hourly wage. An hourly wage. Cash can be deposited, and it can also offer and it also offers a cashless payment mechanism to the account holder. Cash can be deposited and can also offer a cashless payment mechanism to account holder. That can also be what? A current account, to say cash can be deposited. It can be deposited. It can also offer a cashless payment mechanism to the account holder. We can have that as what? As a current account, which can be what? Which can be which can be D can actually fit that, calculated by adding the price of each of the 30 biggest stock divided by the divisor. Uh, when we calculate that, it is called an average, which has been defined as a Dow Jones Industrial Average. It is what? It is E. It is E. E is actually cash calculated. Sorry, I'm writing on the wrong space. Excuse me. Uh, we are saying uh, the answer is E on 3.7.3. 7.3 is E, calculated by adding the prices of each of the 30 biggest uh, stocks divided by the divisor. We call that the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It is actually an average when we actually add everything and we divide we divide by the total. We call that a Dow Jones Industrial Average. This type this type of insurance is not based on the principle of indemnity. Is not based on the principle of indemnity. What is it? It is life or accident insurance, because we cannot indemnify life. We cannot reinstate life. So it is what? It is C. C, it is the correct answer, which says that the policy, or I mean the insurance principle does not apply to it. It cannot apply to life or accident insurance. And then form of inward or outward mail. That is of course a what? A fax. We can say that is a fax. A fax is a form of inward or outward mail. Of course, you see it's an outdated anyway. We are no longer heavily using it. We are now using the latest trends, which are emails and other ways of doing business. So let's do question number 7.2. 7.2, a good teamwork in a company starts with a shared understanding of the importance of the goals of the organ of the company, and then briefly give briefly discuss 5 benefits of teamwork and cooperation in a business. Briefly uh, discuss the benefits of teamwork and cooperation in a business. Teamwork, teamwork. One, we are saying absenteeism and work apathy are reduced when personnel they feel that their inputs are vital to success. It actually one it reduces absenteeism, reduces absenteeism. It actually reduces absenteeism and work. It actually reduces work absenteeism and work apathy. It actually reduces absenteeism and work apathy by having employees feeling being part of the what? Part of the organization. There is a sense of belonging that is created in here. A sense of belonging is created, which ensures that employees remain loyal, and also there is commitment in work ethics and work duties that they are supposed to do. And then we can also talk about customers experience improved services levels when staff cooperation and also exceed customer expectations. The advantages customers can receive world-class services and may be well satisfied. They can be also well satisfied because of the services of the employees. Cooperation is quite good, is quite notable that it causes customer satisfaction to be improved. Customer satisfaction can improve, and then even we are saying it can actually exceed their expectations. Customer expectations can be surpassed because of the motivation and the employee satisfaction. And also the employees feels values and productivity improves. Employees may feel valued, resulting in improved productivity, resulting in improved, resulting in improved productivity, improved productivity, which at the end of the day, obviously, it will improve profit. And profits of the organization. The profit of the organization will also improve. And then we can also talk about motivation in general, improvement in acceptance of work responsibilities. The work responsibilities by employees. Employees, they actually accept responsibilities, and then actually they also take accountability for their actions and opinions, and also can put important and contribute valuable ideas in decision making. Those are quite important points that we can also add in that regard. We can actually add such points also in that regard. At the same time, also, teamwork can also enhance the abilities of each employee, resulting in individual and business success. It results in also innovativeness of employees. Employees, they just become innovative. They start to come up with new ways of doing business. Innovativeness of employees improves. It's gonna be improved. And then lastly, I can as well maybe want you to understand that we can also talk about teamwork enhances the employees' basic abilities. We talk about empowerment of each other among its employees. Employees can just empower each other, and therefore they can do great. Let's just go to the next question. Name and explain 4 managerial functions of the management assistant. Number 7.3. Name and explain 4 managerial. We are saying 4 of the management assistant. 1, we talk about we can talk about organizing. Organizing, it actually looks at coordinating activities and resources to achieve the goals. Organizing, that is coordinating activities, and resources so as to achieve organizational goals. So as to achieve organizational goals. So as to achieve organizational goals, that's what we can mean, or that's what we mean by organizing, coordinating, putting together resources and activities in order to achieve organizational goals. We can also talk about planning, looking ahead into future and predicting possible trends. Planning, ability to, we can look ability to look ahead being able to look ahead into future and predict and also predict possible trends or occurrences. Predict possible trends or occurrences that we can also maybe possibly avoid, that can also influence the working conditions or situations and determining courses of actions, determining and possible trends and occurrences. So therefore, and put in place, we put in place the courses of action based courses of action. We can define it in that way. We also have controlling it actually looks into monitoring and evaluating activities. Monitoring and evaluating activities. When we are controlling, we monitor and evaluate activities to ensure that the goals are met and the standards are maintained. Activities to meet goals and also maintain standards, that is controlling. And then we can talk about also leading, number 3. And then number 4, we can talk about leading. Leading, it actually looks into managing and motivating. It encompasses motivating. It involves managing. It involves managing and also directing people. Directing people to perform their tasks. Directing people to perform their duties. So that in a most effective and efficient way, duties effectively and efficiently. That is it. So these are basic management functions that we can talk about. These are the major basic management functions that we can talk about. And then the last question is saying, name seven time wasters. Name seven time wasters. One, we can talk about telephone calls. Telephone calls is time waster. Time wasters, we talk about other factors that can cause wastage of time. We talk about crisis when there are situations that are difficult to control and manage. Time is wasted. They are time consuming. We talk about lack of. We can talk about unclear instructions. Unclear instructions unclear instructions, which can also remain or cause people not to do what is expected of them. People, when they are given instructions which are unclear, it is also a time waster. And then we can also talk about redoing tasks. Redoing tasks is a time waster. When tasks are being redone, the time that time was supposed to be used to do something else, but instead, people are going to concentrate and do the same work that should have not been done. So it is a time waster also. Lack of planning can also be lack of planning. Lack of planning can also be a time waster. When activities or when a person does not plan, there is a lot of confusion which results in time, which is actually time consuming and also causes problems in terms of time management. It's a time waster. We can also add other factors such as disorganized managers. They can also cause time wasting because there are possibilities where they can give delegation of work, but the delegation is unclear and then results in problems. We can also talk about doing unnecessary tasks that are not relevant, which does not add value to the organization. They can also be time wasters. So what we are saying is time wasters, they are all activities which we can find ourselves being occupied with, but not adding value to the organization. So in that regard, we want to agree and say that these are some of them which we can give. These are some of these uh, uh, which we can give. And then I was saying doing too much work, and then people can end up doing too much of some of work, which may end up causing errors or spoilage. All of those can also be typical examples of what time wasters. I want to appreciate your time, Classy, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for following Metric Hub. Keep following and subscribing. Share the channel.